How do you complete a task with ADHD? Hey there, I'm Charlotte with Colorful Teaching for You. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, trying to complete a task, especially homework assignments, can be a daunting, boring, and just mindless task for any child, let alone one with ADHD. I mean, it requires us to do a lot of different things, like keeping track of our work, making sure that we hear what is being asked of us, starting the task itself, and then working through it and completing that task. I mean, it makes it even worse when a teacher goes on and on for what seems like endless amounts of times before they even have to start that task. And then a child needs to remember what's being told, so recall, and then there's focus and attention that needs to take place as well. This can be daunting for very many children, let alone many kids with ADHD. So think of it this way. If you have a paper airplane, right, and you're wanting to have this paper airplane go up in the air. Now, for many kids with ADHD, or actually any child, what you need to do is you need to take the paper airplane in your hand. You need to be able to push it back with your hand and then move your hand up so that it pushes through into the air, then you let go, and then it actually flies in the air, gains momentum, keeps going, but eventually that paper airplane is going to fall down. Now, we don't want to have garbage around or recycling or whatever, so we've got to go and pick it up. All of this requires energy. Just the very act of moving our hands back and pushing into the air and then picking up requires energy. Now, a child with ADHD will, if they're trying to push something into the air like that, that paper airplane becomes so much heavier for them. So really what I'm doing is I'm trivializing this, obviously, but you're going to think of this as a paper airplane being the task. Having to start that takes a lot of energy from many children with ADHD. So what we want to think about is, how do we get our kids not just to complete the assignment, but start the assignment, keep going with the assignment, that's the pushing up, and then actually following through and completing that assignment, which is the picking up of the airplane, so that it doesn't feel so heavy, so big, right? That's what we're trying to do. And it is totally possible. So let's get right into the steps. The first one is chunk it up. So what you want to do here is help your child break down each of the tasks into small bits. So maybe we brainstorm an assignment together so that we know where to start. Then we actually start the assignment individually. We perhaps create a mind map or just a chart of how we're going to do this assignment. So that we figure out what's the starting point, what are the middle points, what's the end point. So we have like an idea of where we're going. Then we gather together as a class and we go through what our points are. Then we figure out what's our starting point. We start together. Everybody starts on that assignment together. Then we go through the middle part. Then we go together. Then we go through the end part together, right? So we're doing all of this together. We're chunking it up. This may seem really tedious and laborious to you, but there are kids in your class, I can guarantee, that don't just have ADHD, but there are kids like myself who might struggle with anxiety, who might struggle with perfectionism, right? I don't have ADHD, but I have those two things going on for me. And so this will help them stay on task and keep the momentum going, okay? Number 2 is study partners. So what you want to do here is pair your students up with a study buddy. And it's not just let's pair our students up for one task. You could do that because it'll help them stay on track, and it also help your child if they're struggling to ask a question to the entire class. It'll help them ask their partner perhaps, right? But if you keep them as a study buddy for the entire day, it's going to help your child, especially with ADHD, who has executive functioning skills, who's struggling with executive functioning skills. It'll help them stay on task throughout the day. They can bounce ideas off of each other. They can figure out, okay, well, did I put my planner into my backpack? Did I clean up after myself, for example? All of those little things that you're constantly saying, do this, do this, do this, and you're nagging your kids, you can, maybe write it on the board, have your kids read it, and almost like a checklist, they both check on each other to make sure it's done. It also helps them make friends because they have to stay in constant communication throughout the day. But here's a caveat: you do have to monitor their conversations, because I can guarantee you that there are going to be times where it's going to be off-task behavior, right? So we want to be mindful of that as well. Number 3 is hype it up. So look at what your kids are really interested in, okay? Then try and integrate that into the curriculum. Now, I know it's not always, well, when I say curriculum, I'm talking about the assignment itself. Now, I know this is not always possible, so if you can't do that, then integrate something exciting, like a challenge, for example. Now, I go into more details about what you can integrate into your curriculum or into your assignment to hype it up in the section where it says full episode. So click that in the description, and you can go to step number 3, and it actually gives you a little bit more details. But when I say challenge, I'm saying something. You can do something as basic as, let's take your planner, for example. Which of us can stay on task for the longest, or which of us can complete our planner first, can get this little reward. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Even when a child finishes like a part of an assignment, praise them for it so that they're excited to keep going, right? So you want to be able to add as many different parts of this section into an assignment as possible. If you can even add one, it's going to get a little bit of buy-in for your assignment there. Okay. Number 4 is de-stress, because a lot of times just even trying to get started in an assignment, let alone finishing or getting to the middle part, is going to stress out your child. So what you want to be able to do is figure out, what does your child need in order to start the assignment or keep going with that assignment? Do they need a lot more energy right now to keep going? So perhaps they need a high energy boost there, or do they need a calming area right now? Do they need to calm themselves down? Then they need to be able to do something like that with them so that they can start. So maybe some mindfulness. So if you're looking for a way to create this kind of a center or create this kind of a curriculum for your kids, then check out the link again, which says full episode, and click that and go to step number 4, and I've created a resource that has exactly this in mind, and you can create this on a minimalist budget. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. In the meantime, let's just review really quickly what we've talked about so far. We've looked at why completing but starting an assignment is difficult for a child with ADHD, and then we've looked at 4 ways that we can help them along the way. Number 1 is chunk it up. Number 2 is study partners or study buddies. Number 3 is hype it up, and number 4 is de-stress. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me, and remember to create, experience, and teach from the heart. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.